But just for everyone who's here, Supriya is from our team, and we have one guest, Anita Kumar. Ritu, are you also from House of Alpha?
No, there's nobody else from House of Alpha, it's just me.
Okay, okay, awesome. All right. So let's give it another 2, 3 minutes. We should get a few more people in, and then I can do the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have 3 members right now. I'll at least do the introduction. We should hopefully get some more as we go along. The live stream is also running at the moment. So I'll do a quick introduction. S- Hello and welcome to Genesis Live at 4 p.m. Every day at 4 p.m., we have live shows exclusively for the 60 plus to tune in and actively join buzzing conversations around special interests from movies to live comedy, health and fitness, finance, and much more. Genesis Life is an online and offline platform designed for the needs of today's 60 plus by the 60 plus. For all those who are watching the live stream on a YouTube channel at Genesis Life Official, you can actively join and participate in the live sessions on the Genesis Life app. To do so, you must be 60 plus. You can download and subscribe to Genesis Life on App or Play Store, and you can also access the app on a web browser. Log on to genes.life for more info. You can also gift it to your 60 plus friends and family members. You can also WhatsApp us on 882-881-6060 with any questions, comments, and content. A quick set of guidelines for all the members in the room today. We request you to put your cams on so the host can see you and reach out to you. Your mics will be on just in case you have any noise around you. We'll mute you temporarily. When you join the conversation, you can take a few minutes of your time to add to the conversation. We request you to be respectful to everyone on the show and avoid any religious, political, abusive commentary. You can use the chat box here or raise your hand in your video or with the Zoom feature to give us a signal. I now pass on the spotlight to our host, Bhuvna, and we can begin our first episode of Money Mondays with Bhuvna, who's a founder of House of Alpha. Thank you.
Can I?
Yes, you can start.
Great. Okay, fantastic. And thank you very much for joining for today's session. My name is Bhuvana. I'm a certified financial planner and a wealth manager. I have been in financial services industry for the last 20 years. At House of Alpha, we are specialist financial planners, wealth managers, and we focus on retirement planning. We understand that retirement is not just a financial transition, it is a life transition with a lot of financial uh, impact. So our focus has been on helping people retire well, to transition into retirement with enough money so that they can live the best life possible. So today's session, we are focusing on, as I was speaking to Shax, we said we will focus on budgeting in 2025. So if there are any quick introductions from the participants, you want to just share what's the expectation or what's the top money concerns that you have. Maybe it will just help me better understand you, and then uh, maybe structure the conversation around what's required for the room. Anything here?
Um, you can, yeah, I think you can start with the presentation and we should hopefully
Oh,
get some.
oh, great. So So I don't have much of a presentation per se. The conversation is to be on budgeting in 2025. Well, budgeting is the same in 2025, 2024, 2026, whatever. So the principles of budgeting are the same. And but however, you tend to do it a little differently after your income stops, right? Because one of the important elements of post work life is that the income stops and every penny starts to matter, right? So I just want to share a conversation that I was having with one of these clients who had come to our office, and he had retired 6 months back, and he and his wife had suddenly, there's a little bit of anxiety about, will my money last, will I have enough, can I afford to spend on certain expenses. So they started scrimping, what was normal expenditure, what was normal lifestyle. They would go out once in a while, they wouldn't think twice about making some purchases, or they travel always comfortably. They suddenly started scrimping, right, saying that, is it okay to do this, should I just send away the cook, maybe I should only cook. So a lot of these conversations were happening, and once their kids had come home for Diwali. The son and the daughter, they had all come home, and the son, both of them observed that something was happening here. Mom and dad are not behaving normally. So the son started this conversation, saying, "Are you guys okay? Do you need any money? I mean, why is all this cutting happening? Why do you look anxious?" And then apparently the daughter said something that threw these people off. The daughter said, let it be now, let them scrimp, let them you know cut corners and live this lifestyle. Me and my children will never have to fly economy because we will inherit a lot more money. She was just joking. She was only trying to make the point that whatever they are scrimping or whatever they are saying is saving is eventually going to the children. And then this question came to this person's mind: why should my children travel business class? Why am I not traveling business class, right? So they wanted this clarity as to understand how much can I actually spend, how much can I afford to spend in such a way that my money doesn't run out, how far can I go with my expenses, right? So this was the starting point of the conversation, saying I want to know, I don't want a situation where I'm living a uh, poor lifestyle now and ensuring that my children inherit a lot of money, and I also don't want a situation where I'm just going bonkers with all expenses because suddenly there is a lot more money in hand, right? If you're normally used to having, let's say, a lakh, 2 lakhs in the bank account, you suddenly have 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs in the bank account because all of the retirement proceeds have come in and all the policies have matured, they've all come in. It's a little bit of discomfort. We're not used to this kind of money, so there is a tendency to also go a little out of plan or out of budget. So we've seen people who retire, just after retirement, they are like taking long trips, or they are generous with their money. When children come and ask for money, they're giving it away, right? So how do you find that very fine balance between living a good life today and also having enough for tomorrow, right? Or you don't want today to be at the cost of tomorrow, and you also don't want tomorrow to be at the cost of today, because who's seen tomorrow, right? So how do we find this balance um, is the big question. And is this something that you resonate with? Tell me if this is a top concern. Is it worthwhile having the conversation about this topic? Anything from Miss Anita or Miss Sangeeta who are here? I'm happy to hear your thoughts. Is how much can you spend? How much can you afford to spend? Something of concern to you. Do we unmute them, Shax? They want to talk? Yes, ma'am.
I retired about 20 years back,
Wow.
but
Okay.
somehow I had taken voluntary, of course.
Okay.
So I didn't have this problem. Somehow, probably I was managing my expenses and the income.
Okay.
So somehow I didn't have that problem. But then investments, I was not too sure of whether I had invested right or wrong, because
Okay.
I did not earn much in the mutual funds. I lost because at that time the index was low, and
Okay.
I sold at a long time maybe.
Okay. Okay. So you had lost some
But
money
I
with your
didn't have,
investment.
but there is no regret about it, because I had whatever I needed. I had.
Whatever you needed, you had. Okay. 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 Any other thoughts from Anita, ma'am?
Hello, Bhuvana. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay, so I retired say about 5 years back,
Okay.
and I have two daughters,
Okay.
and my sole aim was to give them as much education as I can, and they are very well educated with the grace of God and very well settled in their lives. So there is I have those insecurities of being a single parent, and I don't want to be a burden in future on any of my child.
Okay.
तो वो इनसिक्योरिटी एक रहती है, एंड स्पेंडिंग ओवर स्पेंडिंग और समथिंग की गॉड फॉरबिड कल को कुछ अगर हेल्थ इशू होता है, मेजर हेल्थ इशू होता है, तो देयर शुड बी इनफ मनी.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't have any other liabilities, and I've never been very spendthrift kind of a person, so I have limited this thing requirement needs. So I'm doing I till now I'm doing good in my this thing, but as far as saving goes, so I don't spend much, so whatever money I have is lying in my bank, because my children, they don't need anything from me. And so it's, for now, this is the situation.
Good.
And
Great.
whatever I earn from other sources, I about 1% goes in charity, and that's all.
So limited needs, so you're able to manage
Yes,
them.
yes.
Great. Okay. So good. So, I mean, I understand that situation. You might want to spend more if you have a lifestyle that requires you to spend more. Like ma'am is saying, Sangeeta ma'am retired 20 years back. So she's probably settled down to a lifestyle that she's happy, comfortable with. If you're still exploring how many holidays can I take in a year? How many times can I go visit my family? Right? How far can I go with those expenses? So what usually stops people is not knowing how much they have and how far they can go with their expenses, right? So I mean, what can be my expenditure, what is optimal amount of expenses that I can afford to do, right? So of course, when there is no clarity on that number, it causes a little bit of anxiety, saying I don't want a situation where I've run out of money or I'm asking my children for money. Of course, children will be emotionally supportive, they will be there around when you need them. Of course, you mean, I'm sure seen you probably take care of your parents, or they will obviously be around. However, financially, a lot of people would prefer to take care of their expenses themselves. Even if there is a medical expenses, I'd like to pay for my treatment. If I have something, I'd like to pay for it. If you've spent on it, I'd like to reimburse you. So that is usually the requirement. If that is the case, then for you to understand how far you can go on essential expenses, how far you can go on fun expenses, how far can you go on gifting expenses, right? Gifting, how much can you spend on giving your children and grandchildren also for their birthdays? So how do you do this? I mean, some people have budgets, some people have certain other methods of doing it. But what I want to introduce here is something called a systematic spending plan. Right? You might have heard of systematic investment plan. You might have heard of systematic transfer plan, a systematic withdrawal plan. All of these you might have heard through mutual funds and other things. But how about a systematic spending plan? Who are you saving up all of this money for? Like the client I was mentioning, he's saving up all of this money for to leave behind for the children, while he can actually afford to spend a lot more than he is today, right? So how do we come at arriving at a systematic plan to spend the money, right? So in fact, we have a lot of meetings when clients come and say, in your spending plan, there was a plan for 2 holidays, one India holiday and one international holiday. End of the year, we are actually checking, did you go on that holiday? How much did you spend on it? Oh, if they've not spent on it, then, there is a conversation. Why have you not spent on it? You're supposed to be spending on it, right? So a systematic spending plan, because you've worked so hard all your life to save up something, thinking that you live comfortably after retirement, because now there is no demand on time, right? Now there is money, there is no demand on time. But and making the best of this time, even if it is just living a good comfortable lifestyle in a comfortable house, or traveling, or spending on hobbies, or spending for children, whatever it is that you want to be doing, how far can you go about it? How can you find the balance between lifestyle aspirations and longevity of money? So Sangeeta ma'am was saying, I had enough income, I managed my expenses. Fantastic. But there's one element, which is inflation. Expenses don't stay constant in India, that also, because just yesterday my mother-in-law was complaining that coconuts now cost 45 rupees, right? So because expenses have been consistently going up every year, and if you've been getting a certain sum of money as an income from interest income or rent income, suddenly it feels like, this is not enough anymore. Right now,
Income is, madam.
Sorry?
Income is static.
Income is static. Yes, expenses alone are going up. Yes. So that is the bane that we are living with in a high inflation economy. Right? In a country like India, which is now growing, it's a young country with an average life of about, average age of about 30, 35. And we are growing as a country. The tendency is for people to spend more. So inflation is going up. It is not very friendly for somebody whose incomes have stopped. Right? The country is in that situation today, or is in that stage of growth of the country, that it is not very friendly for people who have retired, because the incomes are static. They are not growing at a rate that they should be, but expenses are just going bonkers. Average inflation, if you are living in a metro city, or you're living a comfortable lifestyle, you have, you have a car, you have maids, you have people coming and going, then your average inflation is anywhere between 8 to 10%. Your expenses are growing at that rate. However, your income is growing at 5% and 6% as per your bank deposit. So if your bank deposit giving 5%, 6%, and you were getting, let's say, X amount of money when you retired, now you're getting the same money, but expenses have gone up. So suddenly it feels like not enough. And then slowly you start withdrawing from the capital itself. And when you start seeing the capital fall, then you get anxious. Oh God, my capital is falling, and now how long will this last, right? So that is why we're talking about something called a systematic spending plan. How can you plan to spend your money in such a way you're living a good lifestyle, as well as you're ensuring that you are financially independent all your life? Right. So I'm just going to share a few steps that you can follow it's a 5-step process, something that we do for all our clients, but I just like to share them as insights for you. If you want to use it, you can. Right. So the first step is to understand where you are right now. The first step is saying, what do you have and what do you need? Right. What do you have is a function of all the assets that you have. Let's say you have some assets in equity stocks, in mutual funds. Yes, you have some fixed deposits, you have some debt-based investments, you have some real estate investments. So what are various assets that you currently have? Understanding that is the first step. I have so much. And then on the right hand side, you say, I need so much. To run my family, I need, let's say, 2 lakh rupees a month or 1.5 lakh rupees a month. And these are various expenses. Utilities cost so much, personal care, housing costs this much, food costs this much. So understanding what you have and what you need. So for following a budget, or having your net worth sheet in front of you that you watch, it's the starting point of, the step 1 is to know where you are, right? So that is step 1. Step 2 will be to understand how what you have is growing, right? You may have equity, you may have debt, you may have real estate, but what is the rate at which this is growing? right? If you see for this particular example, this person has 6.5 crores of wealth. It is growing at 6.2%. While their expenses are growing at something like 8 to 9%. So their wealth is growing at a slower rate than their expenses are. So it is sooner or later they might run out of money. So this is the first level of understanding, to say what is the rate at which your wealth is growing and what is the rate at which your expenses are growing. You may know this, you may not know this. There are some assumptions in it. Any financial advisor, any financial planner will be able to just do this very quickly for you, to understand what is the weighted average return on my portfolio, how much is it growing by, right? So this is the next level of understanding. So very quick steps are what I want to be sharing with you. The third one is to project future income needs. So you may have retired now in the last 5 years. It's possible that both your children are well settled. Maybe it's possible for some people that children are not yet settled. Maybe one of them is still not married. Maybe there are some other expenses that are coming up. Maybe there's a niece or nephew that you're supporting, right? So there could be future need for money. So understanding what a future need for money and what is the rate at which it will also increase. So this is a projection into, for the next 30, 40 years, saying if I live to be 100 years, these are various expenses that are going to happen in my life. So making a projection of future income needs is the step 3. Now, how many calculators are available in the market for you to do this, or any financial advisor will be able to simply do this projection. It only requires you to understand what is the breakup of your current expenses, what are future expenses that are coming up, and then apply an element of inflation to it. So it's not very difficult. It's fairly easy to do, but doing it, you may know something, you have to do it. So doing it will be the next step. You project future income needs. Once you have projected future income needs, now you know you have certain assets and you have certain expenses. You have to use your assets to meet your expenses. Now, the only complication here is that the assets are growing at a certain rate, the expenses are growing at a certain rate, and they are not matching. Right? Now, how do we ensure that the rate at which the assets are growing, the rate at which your in expenses are growing, somehow you're able to understand, my money will last this long? Right? So that is the next step, where we are trying to say, project the longevity of your wealth. If I keep using my money like this, next year I will have so much. The third year I will have so much. The fourth year I will have so much. I will get so much income. Then I will take out so much money. So this is how much I will have in future. This is how long my money will last. So in this particular example, you're seeing this person's money is lasting until age 75. So they are seeing that their wealth will grow and then it will fall. So you understand at some point in time, your money might run out. Or maybe it's possible that some people's money will just last forever. Their money will outlive them. That is also possible. I'm just showing you an example here to project the longevity of the wealth, to understand how long will my money last. Now, most of us want our money to last our lifetime, right? I'm sure that is true. You don't want your money to get over when you are 70 or 75. It's too early in your too early in age for the money to run out, because we can expect to live until 85 or 90, hopefully very healthy. But if your money is lasting until 75, that is the first level of understanding. You take cognizance of the fact that if I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm spending like this, I'm earning like this, I'm investing like this, my money is growing like this. If this goes on like this, then the money will last until 75. Now, if that is not something that you're happy with, if that outcome is not something that you're very happy with, you have an option to take some action now when you are earlier. 10 years from now, the money is getting over. Do something about it today, right? Instead of waiting for the money to get over and then wonder what to do, you can do something about it now. This is like a crystal ball gaze, right? You're saying, okay, how long will the money last? If I take this decision, how long? Can I buy a new house and see what will happen? Can I give so much money to my children and see what will happen? So you have a framework to make your decisions. So based on the various decisions that you're making, you can see how long your money will last. That's the step 4, projecting the longevity of your wealth. This again, there may be calculators available, or we can do something like a workshop to help you do this also. So projecting the longevity of the wealth is the next step. Now, if you're happy with what you're seeing, very good, continue doing what you're doing. But if you're not happy with what you're seeing at this stage, then you have an option to take action. Like you can choose to maybe reduce expenses, if or you can change where you have invested the money. You can see whether you can make some additional income from somewhere. Maybe some of your assets are not yielding as much as they should, right? So you can look at your overall situation and see what is the possibility to improve income or improve returns from your portfolio or reduce expenses, or how can you manage. So it gives you, opens a lot of avenues for decision making that you can then try in the next step, where we say you adjust, make adjustments, take some action, and then you can track the progress. So every year you have a milestone to reach, saying, okay, this year my wealth is 1 crore. Next year I'm going to be withdrawing some money, but I'm hoping that my wealth will grow to be 1.1 crore. Right? So you can have a particular milestone target every year, spend 15-20 minutes every month to just do this adjustment and tracking, and then have those milestones that you're hitting. Now, why is this important? Because we all know that money is only what money does. It doesn't have any intrinsic value. But if it is allowing you to live a comfortable lifestyle, if it is allowing you to live financially independent, where you're not dependent financially on the children, if it is allowing you to retain your independence and your comforts and your safety and your dignity, then money is invaluable. It's very, very valuable, right? So a little bit of focus and attention on this aspect of understanding the impact of the various decisions that you're making today to the longevity of your wealth. Now, we don't want a situation where there is enough money and you are scrimping on lifestyle. Like the example that I was saying, right? This person had enough money to live 150 years. His money is getting over only at 150 years. But why is he scrimping on expenses now, right? Why is he not loosening his purse strings now? Because it's only between 60 and 70 will he even have the health to do all the fun things. It's possible that after 70, the same health may not continue. Both of them may not be around together. So it's important for you to make the best of the time that you have, for which it's great to understand how far can you go with your expenses. So this is what I wanted to very quickly share with you. So Shats, you can tell me if this was useful, if this was valuable content. If you want me to elaborate on anything specifically, I'm happy to do that.
I think it was great. It allows you to give some structure to your thinking and financial planning. So thank you very much for sharing that. But more than me, I would request our guests if they have any further questions on what we've seen until now. We also have someone who just came in, Mr. Sridhar. Mr. Sridhar, would you like to join the conversation? Do you have any questions about planning your finances? It's also this is our first episode of Money Mondays, and it's at the beginning of the year. So we thought that this exercise can also help us plan the year ahead, and it's always great to do that at the beginning of the year.
So
There are
there are a couple
Yeah.
of questions. I saw them. So Ritu says insurance never seems to cover all the bills. How does one budget for it? Yes. So there is something called an insurance audit that you do. Understand all your insurance policies. So similar to how we did the expense audit, you'd also do an insurance audit. There are a lot of innovations that are happening in health insurance. New policies are coming up. A lot of people are still stuck with very old policies that have a lot of sublimits, which has a lot of restrictions and co-pay and deductibles. So it will be good to do something called an insurance audit, put all your insurances together, see what it is covering, and then get an insurance expert to give you a view on, is this the latest available product or is there any better product? Now there are facilities to port your insurance. If you don't have any existing health conditions, then you can comfortably port your health insurance to a new policy. If you do have existing health conditions, then you will have to create a separate bucket from your wealth create a little small bucket for co-pay and for taking care of. So at any point in time, you must assume that insurance will cover only 70%, 75% of your bill. The rest of it, you will have to keep some amount of emergency money away. So insurance is healthcare will be one of the biggest items on your budget. We will have to look for various options. Sometimes some clients choose group insurance policies that are offered by some banks. So you get innovative with this. There are possibilities that you can explore. Another question that she's also asking is there a rule of thumb for the money we should put aside for the next 30 years of our life? Yes, ma'am. The rule of thumb is that first you should know how much you want to spend, right? So how much you want to spend divided by the rate of return that you are expecting, right? So if you're spending, let's say, 100 rupees and your expected return is about 5%, then you actually need something like 20 times, right? 20 times of the expenditure that you're doing. So it is 100 divided by 5% will be how much you will need. That's a simple rule of thumb. However, it does not count for inflation. The rule of thumb is a rule of thumb. It's not perfect, right? So it does not consider increase in expenses. It does not consider reduction in interest rates. So bank interest was at one point in time giving 10% and 12%. Now it is giving 3.5% and 4%, right? So reduced income from various asset classes is also not considered. So rule of thumbs are by nature risky. It may give you comfort, it may be easy, but they won't solve your purpose eventually. So rule of thumb is okay. I would suggest that you do a proper plan rather than go with rules of thumb. Yeah, the bucket is a great idea. Yeah, understand how far your bucket will go is a more scientific and methodical way. So that's why it's a systematic spending plan, not a random spending plan. So you don't want to do this in a random manner. You want to do it systematically, is what I shared the 5 steps.
What is systematic withdrawal, please?
Sorry?
Systematic withdrawal.
Sorry, say that again, ma'am.
Systematic withdrawal.
Systematic withdrawal plans from mutual funds, they are good. You should also know how much to withdraw. So that is the whole question. Systematic withdrawal plans are very useful plans available from mutual funds. And they come in handy when you have a certain corpus invested and you want regular income from it. The rest of the money will continue to grow. Let's say you have a lakh of rupees and you're only taking out 1,000 rupees every month. The rest of the 99,000 rupees will continue to grow as per whatever markets are giving, and you're only withdrawing how much you need. So that way you find a balance between withdrawal and growth, but that also might have some risk, because if in case market conditions are not great, you may see active withdrawal from your corpus, from your capital, rather than from your profits. So systematic withdrawal plans are useful, but to be used, see, for example, if you have a lakh of rupees and you withdraw 10,000 rupees every month, the whole thing will be over in less than 1 year. You have to understand how much you can withdraw to ensure that the money lasts. Because that 1 lakh rupees also is growing and your expenses are also growing. So there are a few moving parts in this whole financial plan in retirement, because you don't know how long you will need the money. You don't know how much you're going to need for emergency reasons. So a lot of moving parts. So a lot of assumptions will be made in the plan, but it is good to have assumptions and make a plan than not have a plan at all. So that's the point that I'm making. Nobody has any plan for life. Nobody knows tomorrow is going to be real. However, you do still plan for tomorrow, right? You still go out and buy your sabji bhaji for the whole week, right? So it is important to make some assumptions and make a plan. So rules of thumb are good. They're good to start with, but they're not perfect. I mean, because I know how to do better, I don't want to recommend something that is inferior.
Mr. Sridhar joined us. I'm not sure. Mr. Sridhar, did you have something to add to the conversation with?
Yeah. Firstly, I'm sorry, I was away, so I joined very, very late. And in between, my audio and video gave some trouble. So now I'm back online.
Yes.
I heard the last 30 30% of Puma's talk, and really it's very interesting and very useful. And also been seeing some of the posters that she's been posting, lovely posters, I must say. It is a very crucial subject, and as in most cases, most people realize the importance of the subject only when they are a little late into it. That is one of the tragedies. Now, we cannot undo that, and we cannot rewind our lives. So, one of the things I wish to add is, now, many people who are 60 plus think that they have no means of uh, earning money other than in investing in traditional or innovative ways.
Yeah.
What I urge is, as part of your talk, you must start encouraging people to use their hidden talents to become more productive in their lives. There should be no retirement. There can be no retirement of the mind. The body can age, but the mind can never age. That is one thing I think you should add to your curriculum and tell them beyond investment, they should do something productive by which they can add value to somebody, a client or a company or anyone, and then keep earning through that also. That is the only way they can beat inflation, and the graph can go more than what they are dreaming of.
Absolutely, sir. I think that makes a lot of sense because we run a campaign. I don't know if you follow us on LinkedIn. We run a campaign called Do Not Retire, Refire. The refire, do not retire. Find something to do in your time and start your retirement planning not with a calculator but with a calendar. So pick up your calendar. You suddenly have 168 hours in a week, of which 70, 80 hours you were spending on work. Now, what are you going to do with all the time, right? So start your retirement planning with the calendar, but not with the calculator. Is the logic that we are trying to propagate, saying do not retire, refire. We're doing some webinars on that topic as well. So maybe if you're interested, you could jump in on do not retire, refire.
Surely. That's a lovely theme.
Yes.
That's a lovely theme. Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Anything else, Shax? I'm happy to answer any questions that are there. We've been working with people who are transitioning into retirement for a long time now. We've helped more than 150 people transition successfully into retirement. We've seen their children come and work with us planning for their retirement. So it's been a very eventful journey for us. I'm happy to share any thoughts. Of course, I think we will be meeting more often. We'll pick up more interesting topics. Maybe we will talk about insurance at some point. We will talk about investment options at some point. We will talk about refinement also at some point. So we can pick up various smaller topics and have these conversations. We are going to meet more often.
Yes, I think firstly that would be great. We can carry on this series over the next couple of episodes and see the whole picture. Today it's been a great introduction from you in terms of how to plan your finances. But just a thought that when we talk about spending plans, let's say we are at the beginning of the year, while the tax season comes at the end of March, but the rest of the year is ahead of you. So when you say spending plans is something that one must work on, I'm assuming, for example, someone who loves to travel would need to account for, what is the portion of the surplus. I don't know what to call it, but the amount of money that they would be able to spend on something like that. Because what Sridhar sir is also saying is kind of, how do you make a good use of your time? But for some people, it is also about, fulfilling some of the desires that maybe they did not get the time to do in their working years, and now they have the time to do that. So from a spending standpoint, what I understood is that one must take away what your basic requirements of spending are, which is groceries, keep something aside for managing your health and so on. And then there would be some things that, according to different people, that they should be able to understand that, okay, I'm left with maybe 50,000 rupees or 100,000 rupees in the year, and so according to that, I can make a plan that, hey, can I do an international trip? Can I do a local trip? How many trips can I do? So that you still feel that there's something to look forward to in the year.
Absolutely. So as you can see here, lifestyle includes not just utilities and personal care and all that stuff. It also includes recreation and entertainment. It also includes family care and donations. So there are various heads under which you will be spending, and you want to live a balanced life, right? So when you retire, the point is that you have a lot of time, and now there is freedom to spend the time. That you're not bound by anything. But what do people want when they are working? They want to retire, and when they are retired, they want to go back to work. So what is it that you really want, right? What people want is a balance. They want enough me time. They want enough time with others. They want enough time for work. They want enough time for fun, right? So you don't want only leisure also. You don't want only pressure also. So finding that balance. So when you make the spending plan, you give enough importance for everything. So I know I'm going to go visit my children 3 times a year because it's important for me to keep that, right? So then you include that in your budget. It's important for me to go on one pilgrim trip. It's important for me to go on one fun trip, right? So you identify, say this person has put aside 6 lakhs this year to put away for various travel expenses. Family care, they want to give away 3 lakh rupees. So there is a certain uh, spending plan. When we say, it's not just upper say, it is breaking down what your desires are and how would you like to spend the whole year. Fill your calendar. At the beginning of the year, you open your calendar for the year and say, oh, April 10 days I'm going to travel. September I'm going to visit my children. December, one of my children's birthdays is coming, I want to gift so much money. And so you have a certain plan for the whole year. You fill the calendar with what are important events, and then you work on your budget for the year. So that is how it is intuitively and methodically done. Does that make sense? You're on mute.
Also, how about contingencies? Should that also be another header in this list? Because
so contingency is always a separate bucket. So you keep that money away. You have sufficient insurances. You keep some money away. You maybe even keep topping up that money a little bit once in a while. But it's not part of regular expenses. I'm not going to plan for a contingency. But if a contingency happens, I have money put aside. So you create 2-3 buckets. So one bucket is your emergency bucket. One is your normal lifestyle bucket. The third is your fun bucket. Then you have a giving away bucket, right? So you create buckets.
Right. Okay. I think I've got that was very insightful. I'd just like to ask Mr. Sandeep Kumar. He's also on the call. Would you like to add anything in, sir? Is there any questions or perspectives that you would like to add? Okay, maybe not. It's okay. Some of our guests, yes, Sir Sridhar.
Would you please post those tables that she had sent just now shown? Because they were very tiny, couldn't be read.
I can share some budget sheets also if you like, on Excel sheets if you'd like. That they were just showing some examples. So if you want Excel sheets, I can share it with you.
No, the ones that you spoke about, so that if you could post it, so that we can have it, because it was very tiny, difficult to read. We were listening to you, so it's difficult to read.
I'll share the presentation with Shax. Maybe we can share it.
Please.
Sure.
Yes, Sir Sridhar.
So if you're on,
Yeah, Ramesh. Sorry. Please go on.
no, if you're on LinkedIn or some social media platform, then maybe you could post a lot of content on retirement. I write regularly at Outlook Money, so there's a fair amount of research that's happening on this subject and how to improve lives of people who are retiring. So if you are on LinkedIn, you could just find me and then follow me. I'll be happy to share some more ideas.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
Can
No,
I?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I see. I have one request and a suggestion. See, for example, I missed some part of it. partly because I came late, and secondly because I had a lot of signal interruptions. Now, if today's program, for example, if a copy of that is circulated, it will be good for us to rerun it again and also share it with many others who wouldn't have joined today. And in that, if your LinkedIn URL is also added, it will help. Many of them may be able to approach you directly.
Okay. I can do that. I think it's on YouTube, right, Shax?
Yes, there will be a recording of we go live on YouTube, sir, and it is there on a channel that is Genesis Live Official. So, but the thing is, we do not keep the video after the conversation
It will be available on YouTube. Pardon? Signal gone.
It is available on YouTube while it is live. After that, we do not have a recording of the video that we keep. But in the days to come, what we will do is we will do some short edits of the video, because for some people it becomes very long to watch. So we take some portions of that and we will again post that on a YouTube. So that's another thing that another way that you can access this content.
Because
so
if we are able to circulate this,
it will be on
pardon?
YouTube. They post the links.
Okay, that will be good, because we will have to share to people who are not able to participate. Then more and more people will get interested in this.
Yes, that would be great.
Thank
And then
you.
we can also have them in the coming episodes. Sridhar, sir, just a question for you. Are you a member of Genesis Live?
Yeah, I am a member.
Okay, so
Yeah, technically I'm a founder member, even though I'm an absentee member most of the time.
okay, great. All right, so we definitely have your contact then, and we can also share the link with you of the unlisted video, so you can have access to that. That's available for members.
Yeah, that will be great. That will be great.
I will ensure that happens.
Super, Shax.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think unless there are any more questions from our guests, we can wrap it up for today. We've had a great session, with so many ideas to kind of think and plan for the year ahead, and I absolutely look forward to the next episode, which will be next Monday. And in case any of you have any questions or any inputs, any feedback as well, you can just WhatsApp us. That's the easiest way to get in touch with us. I'm going to put the number back on the chat, and I'll also say it out right now. So it is a simple number: 882-881-6060. That's a WhatsApp number, and you can write to us just about anything. For example, for the link or any of this. For Sridhar sir, I will ensure that the link is sent out to you of the whole recording. And if shares
Thank you.
any of this information, the Excel sheets or something that you're mentioning, we can also be able to share that with you if we are just in touch on WhatsApp. So just say hi over there, and we will be in touch.
Yeah.
Okay, Shax, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thanks for joining. And I look forward to seeing you all again.
Thank you, Bona.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.